9 words that changed the Lakers forever. 9 words. That is all it took to make the entire NBA stop scrolling. No press conference, no emotional farewell tour, no long goodbye from the Lakers organization. Just one Instagram story from Luka Dončić, one photo of him embracing LeBron James, and one sentence that suddenly felt bigger than basketball. An honor to play with and learn from you, King James. And just like that, the message was clear. The LeBron James era in Los Angeles was over. For years, Lakers fans watched LeBron carry the weight of the purple and gold through chaos, injuries, criticism, a championship run, and constant pressure that only comes with playing under the brightest lights in basketball. But now, after 8 seasons, 1 title, and countless unforgettable moments, LeBron has reportedly told the Lakers to move on without him. Move on without him. Those 4 words are heavy. Because when you are talking about LeBron James, you are not just talking about a player changing teams. You are talking about one of the greatest careers in NBA history entering its final act. You are talking about a legend choosing a new ending. You are talking about the Lakers closing one chapter while handing the next one to Luka Dončić. And that is why Luka's post hit so hard. It was respectful, but it was also symbolic. It felt like a farewell to a mentor, a tribute to an icon, and the first public sign that Los Angeles now belongs to someone else. Luka did not need to say he was the face of the franchise. The moment said it for him. Because LeBron is leaving and Luka is staying. That changes everything. The Lakers are no longer trying to balance 2 timelines. They are no longer building around a 4-1-year-old legend and a superstar in his prime at the same time. The future is no longer shared. It is Luka's team now, Luka's pressure, Luka's promise, and Luka's burden. But here is the scary part. Nobody knows that the Lakers are actually ready for them. They promised Luka a championship-level future. They told him the summer of 2026 would prove everything. They sold him on Los Angeles, on banners, on history, on building a monster around him. Now LeBron is gone, the whole league is watching, and every move the front office makes will tell Luka whether those promises were real or just another Hollywood script. So before we go deeper, I want to know where you are watching from. Drop your city or country in the comments. And tell me this. Press 1 if you believe Luka is ready to become the new king of the Lakers. Press 2 if you think Los Angeles made a dangerous mistake by letting LeBron walk away. And if you love NBA stories like this, subscribe right now, because this Lakers drama is only getting started. The end of LeBron's Lakers era? For the Lakers, this was not just another superstar leaving town. This was LeBron James walking away from the most powerful brand in basketball after giving Los Angeles one more championship, one more era of global relevance, and one final reminder that even legends eventually reach the edge of the story. 8 seasons in purple and gold, 8 seasons of pressure, criticism, injuries, roster changes, championship expectations, and constant noise. LeBron arrived in Los Angeles in 2018 with people questioning whether he was there to win or just to build his Hollywood empire. Then he delivered a title. He brought the Lakers back to the mountaintop. He gave the franchise another banner when the entire basketball world was watching. And now, the same franchise has to imagine itself without him. That is what makes this departure so strange. It does not feel like an explosion. It feels like a door closing softly, but with the weight of history behind it. There is no screaming, no public feud, no dramatic press conference. Just the reality that the Lakers have already chosen their next direction, and LeBron is no longer at the center of it. For years, everything in Los Angeles had to pass through him. Every trade rumor, every coaching change, every roster decision, every playoff failure, every championship hope. LeBron's presence was so massive that even when he said nothing, the entire league tried to read his silence. But now, his silence means something different. It means goodbye. It means the Lakers have moved from worshiping the past to chasing the future. It means Luka Dončić is no longer the co-star in someone else's movie. It means the biggest spotlight in the NBA now belongs to a player who was never supposed to leave Dallas in the first place. And that is where the story becomes dangerous. Because LeBron may be leaving, but his shadow is not. Every Lakers loss will be compared to the LeBron years. Every Luka playoff run will be measured against championship banners. Every roster move will be judged against one question. Did Los Angeles push out a legend too soon? Or did they make the hard decision at exactly the right time? That is the pressure of replacing LeBron James. You do not just take his locker. You inherit his expectations. And for Luka, the crown is no longer being offered. It has already been placed on his head, how Luka became a Laker. To understand why Luka's farewell to LeBron felt so heavy, you have to go back to the night the NBA lost its mind, February 2025. A trade notification hit phones across the basketball world, and for a few seconds, people thought it had to be fake. Luka Dončić, the face of the Dallas Mavericks. The 5-year-old superstar who had already carried a franchise was being sent to the Los Angeles Lakers in a deal centered around Anthony Davis. That kind of trade was not supposed to happen. Stars get unhappy. Stars force their way out. Stars send messages through agents, through media leaks, through body language, through silence. But Luka had not demanded a trade. He had not publicly turned on Dallas. He had not reached the stage where everyone knew the breakup was coming. That is what made it feel so unreal. The Mavericks did not just trade a great player. They traded a generational identity. Luka was not simply the best player on the roster. He was the reason the city believed. He was the jersey kids wore to school. He was the player fans expected to watch for the next decade. He was supposed to be Dallas's answer to every dynasty, every super team, every superstar who chose a bigger market, and then overnight, he was gone. Around the league, the reaction was disbelief. Players were stunned, front offices were confused, fans were refreshing their phones like the story might somehow correct itself. In Dallas, the pain was immediate. This was not a normal breakup. It felt like the franchise had taken something from its own people before they even had time to understand why. And in Los Angeles, the reaction was the opposite. Laker Nation suddenly had its next superstar. Not a prospect, not a gamble, not a declining veteran with a famous name. Luka Dončić in his prime was walking into the same city where Magic, Kobe, Shaq, Kareem, and LeBron had built basketball mythology. But there was one complication. LeBron James was still there. That created the most fascinating partnership in the league. The old king and the new prince. The greatest player of his generation and the player expected to own the next chapter. On paper, it looked like a dream. In reality, it was always going to be temporary. Because two timelines can share a court, but they cannot share a franchise forever. Dallas never let go. When Luka Dončić returned to Dallas as a Laker, it did not feel like a basketball game. It felt like a city attending the funeral of a love story it never agreed to end. The arena was packed, but the energy was different. This was not just another former player coming back. This was Luka. This was the kid who became the face of the Mavericks, the superstar who made impossible shots feel normal, the player who carried Dallas through nights when hope looked dead and still found a way to bring it back. And now he was sitting on the visitors' bench. That image alone told the whole story. The Mavericks tried to honor him. They placed tribute shirts on the seats. They played the video. They gave the crowd a chance to thank him. But sometimes gratitude and heartbreak live in the same building, and that night, Dallas had both. When the tribute video started, Luka could not hide it. He sat there with his head down, emotions written across his face, trying to process what everyone else in the building was feeling too. The cheers were real. The love was real. The pain was real. Then came the game. And Luka did what superstars do when emotions are too heavy for words. He turned everything into basketball. 45 points, 7 threes, rebounds, assists, steals. Every bucket felt like a memory. Every shot felt like a message. The crowd cheered him even though he was hurting their team. Because deep down, Mavericks fans were not angry at Luka. They were angry that he was no longer theirs. The chants told the rest of the story. Fire Nico echoed through the arena like a verdict. Every Luka basket made the trade look worse. Every roar from the crowd made the wound deeper. Dallas was watching its former franchise player punish the team that let him go, and nobody could pretend it was just another regular season night. That is why this part of the story still matters, because Luka may wear purple and gold now. He may be the future of the Lakers. He may have signed the deal. He may be building a new life in Los Angeles, but Dallas never fully let go. And maybe, somewhere beneath all the pressure and all the business of the NBA, Luka never fully did either. Luka and LeBron, a dream that ended too soon. Before it became a goodbye, it was a dream. Luka Dončić did not hide what LeBron James meant to him. He grew up watching him, studying him, admiring him. Like so many players from Luka's generation, LeBron was not just another superstar. He was the standard, the blueprint, the player who showed what it looked like when talent, power, intelligence, and longevity came together in one impossible career. So when Luka arrived in Los Angeles and LeBron called him right away, the moment mattered. It was not just a welcome call from a teammate. It was the old face of the league reaching out to the new face of the franchise. It was a legend telling a younger superstar, "I see you." That kind of moment does not show up in box scores, but players remember it. And for a while, the idea was electric. Luka and LeBron together in Lakers jerseys. Two of the smartest offensive engines the game has ever seen. Two players who could control tempo, manipulate defenses, throw passes before the defense even knew the window existed. Two walking mismatches sharing the same court in the most famous basketball city in America. It should have been bigger. It should have lasted longer. But the NBA does not care about what should happen. Their partnership never got enough clean runway. Injuries interrupted the rhythm. Age followed LeBron everywhere, even when his production made people forget it. Luka had his own physical battles. The roster around them kept shifting. The Western Conference kept getting younger, longer, deeper, and hungrier. And then the playoffs told the truth. They reached the postseason, but they never became the nightmare everyone imagined. One year ended too early. Another ended with more questions. Luka's injury kept fans wondering what the Lakers could have been if both stars had been healthy at the same time. That is the part that will haunt people. Not that Luka and LeBron failed, not exactly. It is that we never really got the full version. We saw flashes, a pass here, a late game possession there, a stretch where defenses looked helpless, moments where the basketball IQ between them felt unfair. But the complete masterpiece never arrived, and now it never will. That is why Luka's 9-word tribute felt so final. It was not just respect, it was mourning the version of the Lakers that almost existed. A dream came true, then it disappeared before it could become a dynasty. The Lakers quietly chose Luka. The Lakers did not need to announce the transition. They showed it. In the NBA, power does not always move through press conferences. Sometimes it moves through private dinners, quiet meetings, front office plans, and who gets invited into the room when the future is being discussed. And after Luka arrived, the signs were everywhere. The Lakers began looking at everything through Luka's timeline, not LeBron's, Luka's. They knew LeBron was still great. They knew he could still sell tickets, control games, and create headlines with one sentence. But they also knew the truth every franchise eventually has to face. Legends age. Franchises do not want to. That is why Los Angeles started building the map differently. Luka was younger. Luka was in his prime. Luka could be the face of the next 5 to 7 years. Luka could carry the brand into a new era. And if the Lakers were going to keep him happy, they had to make him feel like this was not just LeBron's team with Luka added to the picture. They had to make him feel like it was his. That is where the tension came from. Not personal tension between Luka and LeBron. The reporting around them made that clear. This was not about two stars secretly hating each other or fighting for control in the locker room. By all accounts, there was respect. Luka admired LeBron. LeBron respected Luka. They understood each other, but respect does not erase reality. LeBron needed a final chapter that made sense for his legacy. Luka needed a franchise fully committed to his championship window, and the Lakers could not serve both visions forever. So the organization made its choice. The dinner with Rob Pelinka, JJ Redick, Luka, and Luka's camp became one of those moments people look back on differently after the fact. At the time, it looked like a meeting. In hindsight, it looked like a declaration. The cameras saw enough. The league understood enough. The Lakers were no longer preparing for life after LeBron. They were already living in it. That is cold, but that is the NBA. Sentiment matters until it gets in the way of strategy. History matters until the future starts demanding attention. And in Los Angeles, the future had a name, a number, and a responsibility that could swallow almost anyone. Luka Dončić was no longer joining the Lakers' story. He was becoming the story. LeBron's final decision. For LeBron James, this is not just free agency. This is the final great question. Where does a legend go when there is almost nothing left to prove, but still something left to chase? He has the rings. He has the records. He has the finals moments, the comeback, the scoring title, the longevity, the global fame, the respect of generations. He has already been the villain, the hero, the prodigal son, the Hollywood superstar, and the elder statesman of the league. But now he has to choose an ending, and endings matter. Golden State is the fantasy that would break the internet. LeBron James next to Stephen Curry is the kind of idea fans have argued about for a decade. Two rivals who defined an era suddenly wearing the same jersey, playing under Steve Kerr with Draymond Green setting screens, talking defense, and turning every possession into a chess map. Basketball fans would not know how to handle it. Some would call it unfair, some would call it beautiful. Some would say it should have happened years ago. But everyone would watch because LeBron and Curry together, even near the end, would be one of the biggest stories the NBA has ever seen. The challenge is money. The challenge is roster math. The challenge is whether LeBron would be willing to take less financially to gain more emotionally. At this point, maybe he would. Maybe happiness matters more now. Maybe peace matters more. Maybe one last run with players he respects is worth more than another massive salary. Then there is Cleveland. That story writes itself. The kid from Akron comes home one more time. The same franchise that drafted him. The same city he left. The same city he returned to. The same city he delivered from decades of heartbreak with the 2016 championship. If LeBron ended his career in Cleveland, nobody would need to explain the symbolism. It would be full circle. But the NBA is never that simple. Cleveland has money tied up. The roster has its own direction. Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley are not side characters. Bringing LeBron back would be emotional. but it would also have to make basketball sense. That is what makes this decision so fascinating. LeBron is not just choosing a team, he is choosing what the final image looks like. Does he want one more real title chase? Does he want to go home? Does he want joy? Does he want comfort? Does he want the brightest stage possible? Whatever he chooses, it will not erase what he did in Los Angeles, but it will define how the final chapter begins. The promised Lakers made to Luka. Now the Lakers have no place to hide. For more than a year, Luka Dončić's camp heard the same message from Los Angeles. Wait until the summer of 2026. That was the promise. That was the pitch. That was the line the franchise used to keep him believing that everything was part of a bigger plan. Well, the summer is here. LeBron is gone. The plan has to become real. And the first thing Luka wants is not complicated. He wants a center, not just another body in the paint, not a short-term patch, not a player who looks useful in January but disappears in May. Luka wants a real, high-level big man who can protect the rim, finish lobs, set hard screens, run the floor, and survive playoff basketball, because Luka knows what the West looks like. Nikola Jokic is still out there turning every possession into a lesson. Victor Wembanyama is growing into something the league has never seen before. Oklahoma City is young, deep, fearless, and built like a machine. San Antonio is rising. Denver remains dangerous. Every serious contender has size, defense, and structure. The Lakers cannot beat that with branding. They need bodies. They need balance. They need a roster that makes Luka's life easier, not harder. Keeping Austin Reeves was important. Reeves gives Luka a reliable partner, a guard who can score, make decisions, handle pressure, and connect with the fan base. That matters. In a league where chemistry can fall apart fast, having a trusted backcourt piece gives the Lakers a foundation. But a foundation is not a championship team. The Lakers need more. They need someone who can clean up defensive mistakes when Luka is targeted. They need someone who can punish teams for trapping him. They need someone who can make opponents pay when they load up at the three-point line. They need a big man who changes the geometry of the floor. That is why this moment is so dangerous for Rob Pelinka and the front office. They wanted the Luka era. They created the Luka era. They moved the franchise toward Luka before LeBron had even fully walked out the door. Now they have to support it because Luka is watching. He knows what was promised. He knows what championship rosters look like. He knows what it feels like to trust a franchise and then have that trust shaken. Dallas already taught him that the NBA can be ruthless. Los Angeles has to prove it is different. Not with words, with a roster. The pressure now belongs to Luka. The most dangerous thing about becoming the face of the Lakers is that the celebration does not last long. At first, everybody talks about the future, the billboards, the jersey sales, the highlights, the new era, the superstar smile, the idea that the franchise has found its next great centerpiece. Then the games begin, and Los Angeles starts asking for banners. That is where Luka Dončić is now. LeBron is gone, which means Luka no longer has the biggest name in basketball standing beside him. There is no more shared spotlight, no more split narrative, no more questions about whether the Lakers belong to the past or the future. They belong to Luka. That sounds powerful. It is also terrifying, because if the Lakers win, Luka becomes the man who successfully carried the franchise into its next era. He becomes the superstar who took the torch from LeBron and kept the Lakers relevant at the highest level. He becomes another name in the long line of legends who made Los Angeles feel like the center of basketball. But if they fail, there is nowhere to hide. Every late game turnover will be replayed. Every playoff loss will become a referendum. Every bad roster move will somehow still land on Luka's shoulders because that is how superstar responsibility works. Fair or not, the face of the franchise absorbs the blame. That is what LeBron lived with for 2 decades. Now Luka gets a taste of it, and the pressure is different from Dallas. In Dallas, Luka was loved as the miracle worker. Even when the roster had flaws, fans knew he was the reason they had a chance. In Los Angeles, love comes with expectation. The Lakers do not celebrate being interesting. They do not build statues for first-round exits. They measure greatness in championships. That standard can elevate a player. It can also crush him. So the question is not whether Luka is talented enough. Of course he is. He is one of the most gifted offensive players in NBA history. He sees the floor like a coach, scores like a superstar, and controls games with a rhythm most defenders cannot solve. The question is whether the Lakers can give him enough defense, enough shooting, enough size, enough toughness, enough health, enough patience, enough honesty. Because if they do, Luka can own Los Angeles. But if they do not, the same city that crowned him may one day wonder how long he will stay. A new era, a dangerous gamble. In the end, this is not just a story about LeBron leaving or Luka staying. It is a story about timing. The Lakers made the kind of decision great franchises are sometimes forced to make before everyone is emotionally ready. They looked at a 4 one-year-old legend, still productive, still iconic, still powerful enough to dominate headlines, and they looked at a 2 7-year-old superstar in his prime. Then they chose the future. That does not mean they disrespected LeBron. It does not mean Luka pushed him out. It does not mean there had to be a villain. Sometimes in the NBA, two truths exist at the same time. LeBron deserved a better ending in Los Angeles, and the Lakers still had to prepare for life after him. Luka respected LeBron, and Luka still needed the franchise to belong fully to his timeline. That is the human part of this business. Basketball sells loyalty, but it survives on decisions. Fans fall in love with eras, but front offices are paid to think about the next one. Players give their bodies, their years, their prime, their emotions, and sometimes the reward is not a perfect farewell. Sometimes it is a quiet goodbye and 9 words on Instagram. But those 9 words mattered. They showed respect. They showed gratitude. They showed that Luka understood the moment was bigger than him. Before he fully stepped into the spotlight, he paused to honor the man who helped define what that spotlight even means. That is important, because the next chapter of the Lakers should not be built on bitterness. It should be built on clarity. LeBron should be celebrated for what he gave Los Angeles: a championship, history, leadership, and proof that greatness can age without disappearing. Luka should be given the chance to lead without being asked to apologize for being next. There is a lesson here for every franchise and every fan. Transitions are painful when people only see them as rejection. But sometimes, a transition is not an insult to the past. It is the only way the future can breathe. Now the Lakers have to do their part. They have to build smart. They have to protect Luka with the right pieces. They have to respect the standard LeBron helped restore. They have to chase championships without turning this into a war between generations. Because this should not be LeBron versus Luka. It should be LeBron's legacy and Luka's opportunity standing in the same story. So now I want to hear from you. Do you think the Lakers made the right decision by handing the franchise to Luka Dončić? Or should they have done more to keep LeBron James in Los Angeles? Press 1 if you believe Luka is ready to lead the Lakers into a new championship era. Press 2 if you think losing LeBron will haunt this franchise. Press 3 if you believe LeBron should finish his career with the Warriors. Press 4 if you want him to go back home to Cleveland. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share it with another NBA fan. Because this new Lakers era may become one of the most dramatic stories basketball has seen in years.